Hi guys, how you doing? Hope you're good. I know this is such an awkward and weird time, but it's life. I've been thinking. Okay, that's enough. I remember I wanted to do like a Q&A today, but I decided not yet anyway. I feel like this is such an extreme time for everyone. It's such an extreme time for everyone. Like everyone is feeling overwhelmed. Everything is just all happening at once. So I can like understand how people are feeling, having to stay home and not see other people, keeping 6 feet between you and your mates, you and your family. It's crazy. I don't know. I'm in such a, I don't want to say a good mood per se, but I'm in a mood. But I don't know if it's good, if it's bad or whatever. But as I've said before, like I'm one of those people who strive myself in being positive minded, being like staying happy and positive all the time. I feel like it works out for me almost all the time. Because at times like this you find yourself that you're so strange, your energy is like going down and you don't feel like doing anything. Everything is just irritating. You don't know what to do, especially for people who are not used to being indoors and people who are not used to being by themselves. Then it kind of gets hectic and hard, and I personally understand that, because there was a time and place and moment in my life where I couldn't like sit by myself and I would just get tired. But as years went by, I kind of got used to my own company, having like being able to sit by myself and find something that makes me happy or makes me calm or like makes me content. So I just wanted to share like a few things with you guys that you probably know already, but I mean, it doesn't hurt for me to mention them. So if you're at home and you're struggling with what you can do, obviously going outside to take a walk is always good because it clears your mind, especially in the morning. It's fresh air, it's you're still waking up, watch the sunrise. Just go out and breathe in and out and just calm yourself and calm your mind. Go for a run if you can, and then just make sure that you like keep your 6 feet away from people, and then you get back inside, take a nice warm shower or bath, whatever you feel like. Get something to read. Like reading is always good at times like this because you just learn more, and I feel like reading helps you travel because you put yourself in whoever's character, in the character that you're reading about, whether it be the main character or some of the people in those in that story that you're reading. Whoever's character that you feel you resonate well with, or that you like, then you like kind of put yourself in that person's character, or in that character, and that becomes you, and you see things that they see, you touch the things that they touch, you travel the places that they travel, and you feel like you're living in a different world. Like you're traveling just by sitting in your couch, in your bed, on the floor, wherever, and just reading a book. It's like the most amazing thing ever. And if you're not a reader, there's always audiobooks. Is it audiobooks? Audiobooks where you can just sit and you listen to it instead of reading it, and I feel like it gives you like the same pleasure. It might be different here and there, but it kind of does give you like the same pleasure all in all. And also writing, whether it be poetry, just doing like a normal day-to-day journal, just writing down stories if you write, whatever comes to mind, do it. Painting, coloring, drawing, like whatever that you feel comfortable, learning something new. Someone told me taking online classes, like online courses that if you're not a student and you have nothing else to do, then doing online classes like in whatever that you may be interested in, do that. Like I wanted to take online classes for something else, but my time, I feel like I get too busy with my classes as it is, so adding more stress on myself is just not good, so I couldn't take it. And it was a free class, so it would have been amazing. It was like for 6 weeks, if I'm not, I don't know, I think it was like 6 weeks, and I could have done that, but then I have classes already, and that's taking enough time of my, like, from me already, and I cannot add more stress on top of what I have already, and that's like online classes, so it's too much. And I'm not one for online classes, but I'm not complaining at the same time. If your classes have moved also online and you're not used to the platform, then give yourself the time and the chance to get used to whatever that you have to do, because at the end of the day, you do not want to waste your year or your semester. You still want to continue and finish what you have to finish. So yeah, those are things that you can do: sing, dance, whatever. Just have fun with yourself. Like, you don't need to have people around you in order for you to enjoy yourself, in order for you to enjoy your company. I understand that with people who are suffering from whatever that they may be suffering from, whether you're suffering from mental health related issues or issues that are not related to that this will be a time that is not easy for you. I do get my days also where I just feel like I'm losing the plot, like I'm losing my sanity, but I always find a way to balance myself out. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. It is a hassle. It's a damn hassle. But I do it and I move on and I get through things and I suffer and I wake up and I get back on my feet and I do what I have to do. And it's just a roller coaster of different emotions every single day. Every single day is like, it's really a new day, because you don't know what the day is bringing. Like, you don't know if you're gonna be happy, if you're gonna be sad, if you're gonna be like in limbo, like in between feelings. But it's always good to know what lifts you up, like what lifts up your spirit, because you can just walk through and try and do whatever that's gonna help you out of that sad moment or whatever it is. And as I mentioned before, that I wanted to do a Q&A, right? So I ended up not doing it, but one of my friends asked me a question, and I found it to be a very interesting question, because it's a question for me. So she asked me, okay, so what advice would I give the younger generation about mental health? I didn't give myself the chance to think about this. It's such a packed question. I'm still in my journey to learn more about mental health, because it's something that I'm obviously very passionate about, and kind of helping other people through their problems. Not saying that I'm a shrink or whatever, but I'm just saying that I have my fair share of knowledge, I have my fair share of experiences, and I feel like I am one of the best people to kind of communicate the issue out there with people, so that they can also find and seek their own ways of finding solutions, or ways to deal with their demons, if I can say that. And I feel like within the situation that we're in right now, anxiety and fear, it's like one of the biggest things that are going on in people's lives and people's minds. People are afraid of the unknown, and it's an understandable statement and it's an understandable thing to go through. But I feel like if you, like as I've mentioned, the things that you can do, if you kind of focus on the things that keep you positive, that keep you going, then it won't be easy for you to focus on the things that will like put your spirit down. So what I would say to younger people is that if you feel that you have a problem, and it doesn't have to be something severe, it can just be like a small thing that you have an issue with, whether it be with school or like your life in general. Just find someone that you can talk to before the issue gets bigger, you know, because if everything starts small, like some issues may start like just as a big, I don't have words, as like just, it could just be something very big that's just pounces on you, or it could just start off as a small thing, just as a small light, and it just grows. So while it's still small and you feel uncomfortable about it, find someone that you can talk to, or find something that you can do that will help you get through whatever small situation that is. But do not bottle anything in. Do not keep it inside and say, oh, I'll be okay, I'll get over it, because the more you keep it inside and tell yourself that, is the more that you peck on it. You keep saying that, oh, I'm over it, oh, I'm over it, but it's still like lingering in your mind and it's not going anywhere. And the fact that you don't have a way to deal with it, and it just like packs on with every small issue that comes through, with small problem that comes your way. It just packs on the small light that you had, and then it becomes this huge flame that you cannot control. So the way I see it is, if you have just the small light, the small spark that is making you feel uncomfortable, find someone that you can talk to, write it down, think of solutions and ways that you can solve that small problem that you have, so that it goes away, because you don't want to keep that small thing within yourself, because it will just blossom into something that you do not want. And I don't mean blossom as in it's going to be such a good thing. It's going to blossom into this dark cloud over you that will always be hanging there, and it'll just pack on every time you have a problem. So the moment you have something that you're dealing with, mental health comes in many different forms. So whatever issue that you may be facing with, you do not want it to end up being depression or anxiety or whatever other case it may be. So as small as it is, fix it right then and then. Find someone to talk to, whether it be on the phone, whether it be a friend, whether social workers, counselors, shrinks that are out there, someone that you know that that uplifts your spirit, someone that you trust, that you can talk to, whether it be your pastor, whoever it may be. Like, find someone that you fully trust and you know you can tell your problems to, and they won't go out sharing it with other people. Find someone that is very confidential and trustworthy, you know, because it's not only at this time that issues grow, because of the problem that we're facing right now is as the world, but every day in our lives there are things that just that gets us, you know, and we always look at them and be like, oh, it's nothing, like I can deal with it. But that's not the case. The problem is that the moment you just let it slide, then everything else that you let slide, they just pack together and they become this huge problem. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm just saying that, like, it starts small. Everything starts small. Well, not everything, as I said before, some issues just come as a whole pack. But most issues that you have in your life, most issues that people who are older have in their lives right now, started when they are younger, and they started small. And because you kept it a secret, because you kept it to yourself and you didn't tell anyone about it, because you decided to let it slide, because you decided not to to confide or to attack the situation straight on, then it grew up and it became something that you can't handle, and you end up being depressed, having all these suicidal thoughts, having anxiety attacks all the time, having fears that you don't even know where they come from. I believe I'm one of those people who don't act on my fears. Like, I can be afraid of something, but at the end of the day, if I don't act on it, what the outcome may be, then I just focus on the outcome and I don't focus on the fear. Because at the end of the day, focusing on the fear is not going to take me anywhere in my life. Focusing on the fear will not make me succeed. Focusing on the fear will not make me reach out for the things that I want to reach out for. Focusing on the fear will not help me grow as a person. So I feel like if you focus on the fear, if you focus on the small things that bother you, then you're not going to get anywhere with your life. Whereas if you have an issue, focus on the outcome, the positive outcome that you want from whatever that you're facing, and make that your goal. You will overcome everything else that's happening. I'm not sure if I make sense. I hope I am, because I know sometimes I can be all over the place. But what I'm trying to say is that, one, if you have an issue, no matter how small it is, find someone that you can talk to. It can be your friend, your parents, your neighbor, your neighbor's neighbor, whoever that you feel comfortable with, whoever you feel like will listen to you. Because it's one thing to have a person that is listening, ready to talk, and it's another thing to have a person that is actually listening to what you're saying. Not someone who listens with this ear and this ear, like everything that you said went out and they say whatever that they feel they need to say. Someone who will be honest and truthful with you, and someone who will keep all your problems and they won't share it out with the world. So find someone that you can trust. Write your problems down. I feel like having a journal and writing everything down helps, because it's kind of like in some way you're sharing and outpouring whatever issue that you have, so that it doesn't stain you, it doesn't sit in and sink in and cause more problems for you. So if you write about it, if you talk about it, then that helps. But if you're a person that can't talk to other people, then write about it. That's not the end of the world because you can't talk to other people. I fully understand that, because I'm not one of those people that talk about my problems. So write about it. Have a journal that you can write your issues out, that you can write your thoughts down. So do that, right? Talk to someone. Reading helps you get through a lot of problems. You might read a book just because you thought, oh, this looks amazing, this sounds like a great story, and then when you read the book, you find that your life is kind of similar to whatever story that you're reading, and you may find solutions to problems that you're facing just by reading a book. Mind-blowing. It's the craziest thing ever. I've experienced this 1,000 times. I'll be facing something, having so many issues and problems, and I love reading. So when I read, I find that, oh, this is actually similar to whatever I'm going through, or it's similar to whatever issue I may have. This makes sense. Handling this situation in this sense it makes sense for me. So I can use whatever I'm reading from the story in my life, and it has a positive impact. So reading helps you find solutions to your problems. And I'm not just saying read magazines. Find interesting books. Find books that will help you grow. Find fun books. Even just simple teenage books. They also have, teenage books are actually good. You can get great stories that have some serious things, and you learn a lot from them. People will look at them and be like, oh, you're such a child, you're reading these books. No, F that. Never mind what they say, because some of those books have really strong messages on them, and they are so important in our lives. You don't have to read all these autobiographies and all the stuff by other people. Simple books have important messages, and you will never know this because you don't read them. So read a book. Simple, read a book. You'll find solutions. Whether it be a solution for your life, it be a solution for someone you know, but read. Like, reading is good. It will help you in the long run, whether it be with like just your life, someone else's life, your vocabulary. I can't even talk. Vocabulary, like your mindset. It helps you grow. Reading helps you grow. It's such an like beautiful adventure, such a beautiful experience. I feel like I'm just going crazy just thinking about reading and what it helps you do and how it's so important. Reading is so important for your mental state. But yeah, talk to someone, read, write, run. People who know how to run, people who go out for morning jogs, late night jogs, midday jogs, like I feel like that helps. It does help for some people. It's not for everyone. I personally do not run, so I'm not gonna say that I have an experience and I know how it is, because I do not. But I know it does help with some people because you get to clear your mind. It's just like going to the gym. When you're stressed out and you feel like you cannot think of any solution possible to whatever that you're facing, going to the gym is a good way to help you clear your mind. The most important thing that I forgot is prayer. Very important. Meditate. Meditation is such a beautiful thing to do. It really clears your mind and helps you understand things in or situation in ways that you didn't understand them. So if you're a person who has I don't want to say mental issues, but if you're a person who suffers from like depression and stuff, meditation is important, right? Because it helps you calm your mind, calm your soul, calm yourself, look through things, and also put yourself in other people's shoes. You get to have a different perspective on life, get to have a different perspective on issues. You just get to have a different perspective. You are open-minded, you think differently, so it helps you find solutions. It helps you go through problems in a much more simpler way. Like, there are so many ways to help you deal with whatever mental issue that you may have. I feel like saying mental health, it sounds like me saying that people are crazy. You're not crazy. You are not crazy. People think that mental health, when you talk about mental health and saying that you're going to see a shrink or a counselor, or you're going to talk to someone because you have problems, no matter how small it is, people think that you're crazy. And I know, like, when it comes to our generation or the generation that came before us, or the generation that's coming after us, like, it's so hard to talk about problems, like having real life conversations. It's not something that's very easy to do, and that is a huge issue that we have. We need to be able to sit down and talk about things. We need to educate ourselves how to have a proper conversation, how to have a proper chat, just to sit and talk about things that actually matter, instead of just having like this crazy conversations that we have. Because I feel like a lot of people do not grow. A lot of people go through a lot of mental issues because they don't sit down with their mates and have proper conversation. Because if you're having a mental issue, I feel like when you are able to sit with your friends and have like a normal conversation, a conversation that is very uplifting, a conversation that will make you think, a conversation that is like engaging and it's just like in depth, then you have like a way to kind of like not escape your issues, but you kind of like get out of your skin for a bit, and you find like you get to gauge on what other people are thinking, and that also gives you the opportunity to talk about whatever that you are facing, because you are surrounded by people who are in the same mental state as you, who are not as in like they're also facing the same issues, but they will give you an answer, they will give you their opinion opinions on the issue that you are facing, and the opinions that they give you will make you think. Because if someone says something and you do not think, if someone says something and it doesn't sink in, then that means that doesn't matter. Like whatever conversations that you have, they have to have an impact on you. Right? I'm not saying all the time like you have to sit there and be in depth with your conversations. No, but there are times and moments that conversations like that are needed. And I feel like young people these days are not really having those conversations. And I'm not saying everyone, don't get me wrong, but young people these days are not having the conversations that are needed, the conversations that they need to have, the conversation that will help them grow, the conversation that will lift their spirit, the conversations that will make them think about their lives and the issues that they have, conversations that will allow them to open up and talk. And that's what they need. That's what we need. That is what everybody needs. Even the older generation needs that, because if they can do that, then that allows the younger generation to be able to sit down and have a proper conversation with their parents, with their older siblings, with their older family members, with their older friends. If the older people, the older generation can have like the mentality to understand what mental health is, what mental health is, and have the ability to gauge in conversations that surround mental health, then they will have a better relationship with the younger generation. And I feel like that is so important in these days, so important in this time. Like conversations where children will be able to sit with their parents and have proper conversations and not feel judged or whatever, or looked at. People don't want to be looked at differently, and that's understandable, because the moment you talk to someone who do not understand what you're talking about, then they will look at you like you're crazy. So if we all educate ourselves, not just the young people, but if we all educate ourselves on what mental health is, then we have the chance and the opportunity to be able to sit as different generations and have a conversation that makes sense. That I feel like that might lead to a lot of young people having the chance and the opportunity and the capability to sit with their parents and talk about the things that they go through. Because it's not easy if you know your parent is old school minded. They won't understand what I'm talking about. It's so hard to talk to my parents because we like from different generation. I'm not saying that you should be a full-on friend with your parents or with your child, but I'm just saying that we all need to educate ourselves on how to communicate as different generations. And I went from what to do from when you're like by yourself to talking about all of this. But thank you, Goldie, for your question. I feel like your question kind of led me to this whole conversation. I hope that I answered your question, and my advice is like very understandable. So I guess what I want to say is, if you have any more questions, or if you want to continue the conversation, I'm always willing to continue the conversation. I love conversations because at the end of the day, I'm also learning, so if I get people who are interested to have proper conversation and to sit down and talk about things that actually matter, then I'm always willing to be part of those conversations. It gives me a chance to learn, so that when I get on platforms like this and talk to people or talk to myself at this point, then I kind of know what I'm talking about, but also I can get deeper within the conversation. But that can only happen if I have people who are conversing with me. Otherwise, I'll just be me blabbing on all by myself. So with that being said, please like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when I upload my next video. Hopefully it won't be long from now. Thank you. Much love.